All right, so this is the writing equations and forms of equations section on your review. I'm going to be honest with you, this is huge. It's huge and it's a lot, okay? It's a lot of the stuff that was on that Unit 1-5 test that was so hard. But the reason it's hard is because there's just a lot to focus on. So I kind of did a little summary of the stuff that you're going to see. There's 8 questions. And these are what they're going to be asking you, okay? So they're going to be asking you to write equations from tables, graphs, 2 points, point in the slope, and a situation. They're also going to be asking you about parallel and perpendicular lines, direct variation, and converting between forms. So I'm going to go through some of these problems with you to kind of try to give you tips on what you might see. Okay, so first of all, whenever they give me 2 points, and they ask me to write them in slope-intercept form, I am going to go to my calculator. Pretty much anytime they give me 2 points, I'm going to go to my calculator because I know that if I have 2 points, that I can put them in L1. At the very least, I can put them in L1 in stat, and then in edit, and then L1 and L2. I can at least get the slope. Okay, at the very least, I can get the slope. Okay, so if I have 2 points, I can get the slope, and that can get me somewhere. If I have multiple choice answers, I can use the slope to help me eliminate answers, things like that. Same thing when I have parallel lines. If they say it's parallel, I know it's going to have the same slope, so I can use that information to help me find it. So if they give me 2 points, I'm going to go to my calculator. If they give me a table, I'm going to go to my calculator because I can put all of these values into my calculator, and I can use that to figure out what the equation is. And even if they want it in a form that's not slope-intercept, I'm probably going to need the slope. I might need the slope to write an equation to turn it into standard form, but either way, this is going to be useful information to me. Okay, so the slope, it doesn't take that long to put in my calculator, and I can use that to find the slope. So if they give me a table, or if they give me 2 points, okay, I'm going to use my calculator. Okay, now, if they ask me to do it in point slope form, okay, so let's look at number 35. So number 34, the calculator is just going to give me the answer, but number 35 is not. Now, before I put these into my calculator, I'm going to make a table because I'm not going to mess up. I'm not as likely to mess up if I already have them written in column format. Okay? So when I put them in my calculator, I'm less likely to make a mistake. Because what most of us, the big mistake we'd make is we'd put -6, enter, -11, and we get them both in the x's instead. So I always make a table. So now I'm going to go to stat, and then I'm going to go to calc 4, because anytime I want to find a linear equation, that's where I do it. I know that the equation of this line is y equals 2x plus 1, but that's not the format they wanted in. Now, I still need this 2, though. The 2 is important for me because point slope form, I need the slope. So, remember, I don't have to memorize this formula. This formula is going to be given to me. Now, if I'm looking at multiple choice questions, I'm going to eliminate anything that doesn't have a 2. Okay, if it's got a -2 or a 1/2, I'm getting rid of it because I know that the slope is 2 because my calculator told me so. Now, if I want to write this, okay, I'm going to do y minus y, so I have x and y. It could be either of these. So if I do this one, y minus -11 equals 2 times x minus -6, which means that my equation is y plus 11 equals 2x plus 6. Now, since there's 2 points, I might have 2 equations. Y minus y1, which is -3, equals 2 times x minus -2, which is y plus 3 equals 2x plus 2. Those are my 2 equations, okay? But again, using the calculator didn't hurt me. Putting it in stat didn't hurt me because it still gave me the slope, and I didn't have to guess on that. And again, with multiple choice, you may be able to eliminate a couple of answers that way, okay? All right, now, when they ask me to write the equation of a line in standard form, that has a slope of negative 7/8 and passes through the point 8, negative 10. Holy smokes, there's a lot going on there. Point slope form is my first stop. Okay, I start at point slope form, and I'm going to move through point slope form into standard form. I'm going to move through from point slope form to slope intercept to standard. But, okay, first of all, I could use, if they gave me, if I looked at my answer choices, I could find the slope by doing, finding the intercepts and using that to make a table. Okay, there's a lot I can do. But let's just walk through what we would do for this one, okay? I would start by writing equation. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So that's y plus 10 equals negative 7/8 x minus 8, okay? Now, at this point, I need to get this into, I need to move to slope-intercept form, okay? So I distribute this, y plus 10 equals negative 7/8 x. Negative 7/8 times negative 8 is plus 7. And again, I do negative 7 times negative 8 is 56, divided by 8 is 7. Worst comes to worst, I do top times the top. I multiply the top and divide by the bottom. But I can also, I can do alpha, whoopsie. Hold on a second, there's a whole lot going on here. I can do alpha y equals, I can do negative 7/8 times negative 8, and I get 7 as my answer there. So either way, I'm real close to being in slope-intercept form. I just need to subtract 10 from both sides. Y equals negative 7/8 x, hold on a second, minus 3. Okay? Okay, so now that I'm in slope-intercept form, I'm going to move into standard form. And again, I know we hate everything about this, but we're going to do it. And on a real test, there's lots of other ways. If we had multiple choice questions, there's other ways we could figure this out. If we don't, you know, obviously we can't. But so we're going to start by getting all of our variables on one side. So I'm going to add 7/8 x to both sides. Now I have 7/8 x plus y equals negative 3. Now remember, I'm not allowed to have a fraction or a negative number, so I have to have whole numbers. So I'm going to multiply by the common denominator, which is 8. I don't know why I put a 7 out there, but you know what? That's what I did, and at least I figured it out. So that's an 8. We're multiplying by 8. 8 times 7, again, these cancel out. 7x plus 8y equals negative 24, and that should be the answer that we have. Hopefully it's right. Remember, when we see the rest of these problems, again, if you look, where am I? Okay. Over here, we have equation of a line that's parallel. Remember, parallel means same slope. Perpendicular means reciprocal opposite slope. So I have, my slope is 3/4. I'm going to transform that. I'm going to flip it over. So I'm going to flip the fraction, that's my reciprocal, and then I'm going to flip the sign, that's my opposite. So when they give me multiple choice answers, I'm looking for the one that has negative 4/3 as my slope. A lot of times I'm seeing you guys, like, so for this one, if it's parallel, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for something that has the same slope. I'm going to look for the ones that have negative 3. If they don't have negative 3, I'm going to get rid of them. Okay? For this, constant of proportionality, when you see direct variation, remember direct variation means it has no constant. It means it has no y-intercept. So you're going to solve that with a proportion. It says y varies directly with x. 5 attendees is $100. 75 attendees equals x. And we can cross multiply and divide. So we do 100 times 75 divided by 5, and we would solve that. Okay, same thing here. All you got to do to solve this is write a proportion. Okay, you don't necessarily have to do anything fancy. If they ask you for k, well, you're looking for the scale factor, but we can talk about this one more in class. These are just converting between forms. Remember, if I'm going to change this one, especially the standard form one, I have 6x plus 3y equals negative 12. Don't forget the cover-up method. Remember, I have one that starts with 0 and one that ends with 0. So that means 3y equals negative 12. That means my y-intercept is negative 4. 6x equals negative 12. That means my x-intercept is negative 2. Okay? With this information, number one, I know my y-intercept. That means that I can convert, all I have to do is find the slope. I have y equals negative 2x minus 4. Okay? There's a lot of stuff in this. There's a lot of parts of this. You have got to study your notes. We took a lot of notes on this. But this, I will gladly spend an entire day in tutorials going over. We will probably end up having a lot of questions over this when we go over the review in class. If you have any more questions, let me know.